Hello, I'm Shelley Rothus, and I'm a different kind of victim. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about ghosting. What is ghosting? Hmm, that's one of the topics and subjects that we really don't have the exact understanding about it yet. Kind of like bullying and how we're still trying to work through that. Like just like cancer, I'm trying to figure out treatments for it. Same thing. It's more new than bullying and not seen as bad as it should be seen. We understand that words can hurt, but what about ignoring? When you think about ignoring, people would say, well, that's immature, that they're not talking and communicating. You think of kids putting their fingers in their ears when they don't want to hear something. They're ignoring you. So people would say, well, that's immature. No. Just like I don't believe that abusers are immature and don't know any better. Same thing. They know what they're doing. They wouldn't be doing it if they didn't know. So, ghosting, if you ever heard of you should be a choice and not an option for a person in your life. When you become an option, they see you as available to them and vulnerable at any time that they want to associate with you. Being somebody's choice, they respect you and want to be there for you and respect you and treat you right. So ghosting is basically, it could be a technique of power and control over a person that they see as vulnerable, knowing that that person is going to be there for them no matter what, and thinking that. Have I ever been ghosted? Yes. Ooh, but the first thing you're going to say is, oh, she must have been in a intimate relationship and he started ignoring her to break the ties with the relationship with her. No. Just like domestic violence, most people think of partnership, an intimate partner being the abusive one. Not my case. This case, it happened to be both a friend and a family member. Now that's going to be two parts. The first part, I'm going to discuss how it came to the realization that I was being ghosted by another person. Okay, the first person was actually my father that was ghosting me in person. The second person where I came to my realization about my father doing this was a friend. That's right, just a friend. So, how did that happen? Many people don't understand why people do it. But just like I explained, it's about the ego and knowing that person respects you a lot or admires you and sees you as an important person. Some people may take that to their head and take advantage of it and just treat you like, you're an option. There's many reasons why people would do that. The only reason why you would see it as okay to ignore someone would be as if they are treating you badly and, like stalking you or doing things really cruel to you, and that you ignore it because you don't want to deal with it. That's not wrong. But when somebody isn't doing any of those things to you and treating you with respect, I mean, just like any relationship, many people don't realize that communication is important in all types of relationships, not just intimate partnership. It isn't. It's important for all relationships. And it's cruel to do in any type of relationship you are in. Ignoring them, being verbally abusive, emotionally, psychologically, just as bad as hitting somebody. They're all wrong, no matter what. Yes, there are types of abuse. I'm not calling everybody an abuser, but people should understand that that's actually a form of abuse. It's a narcissistic behavior to ghost somebody for no just reason or cause for doing it. So how does it make somebody feel when they're being ghosted by somebody that they admire and respect, and that person knows it? It makes you feel like you did something wrong, especially if you have a big heart like me. It makes you feel like you did something to make that person feel uncomfortable with you. You did something to annoy that person. You're not interesting anymore to that person. You're boring. That person doesn't care about you anymore. They lost interest. You can lose interest even if you're not interested in more than a friendship. Or they just don't feel like talking anymore. So, because they're, who knows? They say, oh, because they have problems. Ooh, I mean, that's an excuse right there. Oh, well, I've been really busy. I can't even type in 2 words, or I can't say 2 words, you know, or that's all they say is 2 words without any other explanation. I'm sorry, but even when I'm busy, I try to make time to respond to somebody. And if I don't, I actually apologize to those that I respect and, care about. I would say something and explain, well, I was doing this and that, I'm really sorry I haven't gotten back to you, but I'm here now. That's more than 2 words. So I'm not using excuses as to justify not responding to them and making them, thinking I actually care. I don't want somebody to think that I'm ignoring them if I care about them and that I don't, care and I'm just keeping them as some, option and not choice in my life. If that was the case, I wouldn't want them in my life, barely ever. And I wouldn't do it in ways that are cold and cruel and self-centered, because that's exactly what ghosting is. It's being very self-centered because you're not thinking about anybody else but yourself. And that just shows that you are like that probably in almost every situation. You care more about your own needs or wants than you do about anybody else's. And we're human. I mean, we all have feelings, whether we want to admit it or not. And you're going to feel that way, and it's normal. Me, I felt like I was stupid because the friend that did this to me, I actually admired and respected a lot. And also, they did so much good for me. So I always, of course, I focused on the good. And when he started doing this to me, I was thinking, wow, I was in total shock because, believe it or not, this person was the first person that I admired and respected out of everybody else, out of all other friends. The only other person I actually looked up to and admired before that was my father. But that wasn't since before I was a teenager. So, yes, I actually had the utmost respect for this person and admired them and appreciated them and was so thankful for what they had done, because they're the one that I had been discussing before previously, that they are the one that I got to my realization point of the abuse that was happening in my life. So, with all that good that they did, but started doing this, you think, should I still be thankful and appreciative for what they had done for me? Absolutely. I'll never forget this person, ever. They'll always be somebody that I'll remember who did something really good, So they did do something, beyond what most humans actually would do for somebody that was in my situation. So they do play a huge mark in my life as for that. But does that excuse the behavior of them ghosting me? Absolutely not. Is it my fault? No. Did it make me feel horrible? Yes, because that person did, just like my father, played a huge part in my life that was very sentimental to me. And to think that they ended up doing something I never would have ever expected, just like I never expected my father to abuse me because I looked so highly up upon him that I would never see that him ever doing that when he was good to me before he became abusive. It was still hard to accept that he became that way. It still is. It always will be. Just like for the first time with a friend, it's extremely hard for me to see that I was wrong again. I feel dumb. I feel extremely disappointed. I feel mad at myself, not just them, at myself for actually thinking that this person would never, ever do something like that based upon the good that they did. I would have never saw that coming. You don't see it coming many times, most of the time. You know, so you really don't know. So, what did I do when they started ghosting me? Well, that was during the time I was trying to escape my abusers. And I was going through a lot of pain, as you must understand, because I was dealing with the acceptance, especially about my father, that he is the way he is. He's abusive and he's gone to the dark side. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I don't deserve to be treated like that, no matter what good he did do for me. Same would apply to my friend. But again, I'm going to be a different kind of victim. I'm not just going to go and run and hide and not say anything, because I still write things to my father based upon what he's done, how I feel, and everything else. Most people tell you to just walk away, never talk to them again. That's not what I'm going to do. That's where I'm a different kind of victim. I'm not only going to put them in their place, I'm going to continue talking to them. That's right. A different kind of victim. I'm not just doing it really for them, I'm doing it for myself. That's right. My mouth is no longer going to be zipped. I'm going to say exactly what I'm thinking and feeling. And that's just how it's going to be. Because I'm not going to tolerate it, period, from anybody to treat me like I'm less than them or not worthy of being respected, period. And that's just how it's going to be. So, ghosting. One should think before they do things, just like you should think before you say things to somebody. I know it's hard, to do, and you sometimes slip and say things that you don't really mean, but what do? You apologize. That would be another topic. Apologize when you say something mean. Same if somebody felt like you were ignoring them. You apologize. Not that hard, but you should actually mean it. And if you have a heart, you would apologize for doing that to somebody. Maybe you don't see it, but if that person comes to you and explains it and you actually see, yeah, maybe I did do that, you should apologize. If you don't, then that just shows that you're self-centered. Words can hurt just as bad as ignoring. Like recently, somebody had said something to me that was way out of line, that nobody should tolerate. You should never accuse somebody of something such as abuse, being abusive, or being a sexual offender just to say it like it's some light opinion. I mean, that's actually worse than calling somebody, to me, calling somebody a slut or a tramp or a total dickhead, douchebag, prick, or player. I mean, whatever guys don't like hearing, I don't even know. But and I would say that's even worse, is falsely accusing somebody of something that they're not and they didn't even do. Those aren't words that you just toss out there, accusing somebody of that. I would never do that. I would never do that to my worst enemy. And I think if you read my story, you'd know who that person would be. I'll give you a hint. Booty Lube. I would never even do that to him. Accuse him of being a sexual offender or an abuser. I don't know what he's like in real life. Is his behaviors that he's done abusive and what abusers do? Sure. I'm sure I've done abusive behaviors in the past. Doesn't mean that I'm an abuser, you know. I mean, but somebody, calling you basically implying that you're a sexual offender or an abuser, you don't just toss those words out. That's part of rape culture. That's part of why many victims end up getting blamed or not believed for being sexually assaulted. The ones that it happened to, such as myself, is because there's certain people out there that do toss those words around. You don't do that, period. Anybody who knows me knows that if there's certain things I will not accept ever, would be that I do not accept people who toss around things such as that or encourage rape culture or even anything based on domestic violence or anything based on discrimination against special needs or putting them down. Anybody who knows me, I don't give a damn who you are. I'm going to come after you. And I don't want nothing to do with you if you don't step up and see what you had done. I lost respect for you. Period. I don't give a damn who you are. So, the point for today is that words can hurt, but so can stopping communication, treating somebody like an option that actually respected you and cared about you and admired you can be just as hurtful and painful as those types of words to that person. So think about it. Do you want to be self-centered, or do you want to be somebody who is decent and respectful? It's your choice. And again, I'm Shelley Rothus. I'm a different kind of victim. See you next time.